What's up guys, Bottai Pigs for Life here, and today we're here with episode 1 of The Future of Hammond's Dream, Season 7 in Jurassic World Evolution 2. Today, we're going to begin construction on Jurassic Park, Germany, which is one park that I am particularly excited about. In particular, I'm super excited for all of the new and interesting species that we're going to be housing in this resort. So, as you can see right off the bat, we are constructing not one, but 2 separate aviaries. So, within these 2 aviaries, we are going to be housing a total of 4 species. On one side, we are going to be housing the Tapejara and Cearadactylus, and on the other side, we will be housing some Tropeognathus and some Ludodactylus. And so obviously the reason why we have to have 2 separate aviaries is because for whatever reason Tropeognathus and Tapejara really do not like each other. So because of that, I like this idea that there is sort of a designated area for the aviaries, and I feel like that's really emphasized by the use of the Jurassic Park wall pieces we got in the 30-year anniversary update. So because of that, I'm sort of using those to close off this area from the rest of the guest section. You'll also see a little bit later when we are adding all of the decorations that I was able to use the Jurassic World Aviary sign to sort of designate that area even more. So now you can see what we are doing is we are pretty much adding in a rough skeleton of the path, as well as determining where the arrival point, the visitor center, and the tour ride are all going to be. So the idea is that this first area of the park is going to be themed around the Early Cretaceous in what is now Brazil. So obviously it's going to include the 4 pterosaur species that I mentioned earlier: Tapejara, Cearadactylus, Tropeognathus, and Ludodactylus. But the 2 dinosaur species we are going to be including are Amargasaurus and Tyrannotitan, which is what we are using the 2022 Giganotosaurus variant as. So right now you can see that I am decorating the Cearadactylus and Tapejara section of this sort of aviary complex. Yeah, that's actually a good word for it, aviary complex. And one thing that I would like to imagine is that if you guys remember when I did the 3-year anniversary special for Jurassic World Evolution 2, I gave you guys a tour of the newly renovated Jurassic Park San Diego, and you guys may have noticed that there was actually a small section with Tapejara, Cearadactylus, and Amargasaurus. However, after some extensive renovations, we decided to actually transport those species and those individuals from our site in San Diego all the way over to Jurassic Park, Germany. So those Amargasaurus, Cearadactylus, and Tapejara, some of those are the same exact individuals that we saw in the new and improved Jurassic Park San Diego. So right now we are working on configuring the guest section itself by adding in all of the guest facilities. So as you can see, we are taking a lot of inspiration from Jurassic Park Malta in the sense that we are building a couple hotels right along the cliffside, so that way guests can get a very nice view of the ocean. I also went ahead and added some Jurassic Park Safari Lodges a little bit closer to the aviary complex, and of course I also added the usual shelters, toilet facilities, as well as some of our amenities. Of course, I did have to add in lots more amenities a little bit later in the video. Of course, I did also have to play around with where each of the buildings was gonna go, so that way we could get 100% for guest building optimization. So now, there was quite a bit of space in the first guest section that wasn't really filled with anything, so because of that, I was able to plant a little bit of forest. And of course, I did also add a couple of extra amenities closer to the park tour, because I knew deep down that eventually I would log into my park to see that the amenity coverage was not at 100%. So now, as you can see, we are working on the tour itself. Earlier you saw that I placed down the iconic Jurassic Park gate. Of course, you can't have Jurassic Park without that iconic gate. And now you can see that I am connecting up the tour so that way our staff facilities could be up and running. With all that being said and done, now we are ready to start working on our first enclosure. So like I'd mentioned, this enclosure is going to be for the Amargasaurus. Again, some of them did originate from Jurassic Park San Diego, but there are also quite a few of them that were incubated on site. So as you can see, I added some extra viewing opportunities in our first guest section, such as a log viewing gallery and a viewing platform. And now, as our Amargasaurus are being airlifted in, I was able to add in all of the foliage, all of the water, which I had spilling over into the neighboring enclosure. And so once I finish adjusting the park tour, now it is time to fill the second half of our aviary complex. So like I mentioned, in here we are going to have Tropeognathus and Ludodactylus, which is what we are using the 2001 variant of Tyrannotitan as, because fun fact, Tyrannotitan translates to wings with no teeth. So Tyrannotitan itself did not have teeth, but somehow the 2001 variant of Tyrannotitan did have teeth. So because of that, we are using that as Ludodactylus, since Ludodactylus looked very similar to Pteranodons, but of course they had teeth. So, needless to say, the 2001 Pteranodon variant matches the description of Ludodactylus perfectly. So basically, the design for the aviary was very similar to the aviary for Tapejara and Cearadactylus, and now you can see we are working on the second enclosure of the video, which is of course going to be for Tyrannotitan. So now, of course, I knew that I was going to have to add more amenities to get coverage back up to 100%. And by the time I was able to do that, the Tyrannotitans just arrived into their enclosure. So because of that, I was able to add in all of the foliage, the feeders, and of course, a dome viewing gallery for guests to better see them. And so after that, I decided to take a little bit of a break to sort of get a rough idea of what I want Jurassic Park Germany to look like. So because of that, I completely expanded the tour to encompass almost the entire map, and I also added a zip line going down this sort of valley that I had created, because there was a point of the map that was a lot higher than the rest of the map. So now, as I'm doing that, I just want to quickly mention that if you're enjoying this video so far, then please make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel to see some more videos just like this one. Not only does it help support the channel, but it'll also help the YouTube algorithm by recommending more videos that you might like. And as always, by taking the time out of your day to watch this video is showing a tremendous amount of support on its own. So because of that, thank you all so much for watching this video. So now, all that we have left to do is just configure each and every one of the buildings. I did once again have to add a couple more amenities, and by that I mean I had to pretty much move everything around. And then after we reconfigure all of our amenities, all we have left to do is add in some decorations, and then we can pretty much call this guest section finished. Alright guys, so here is our first guest section in all of its glory. Of course, this is where the arrival point is, right across from the iconic Jurassic Park Visitor Center. Of course, also added a ton of amenities and, you know, other guest buildings, but really where it's at is right over here with the Aviary complex. So we've got this nice little entry area with some fountains. We've got the Aviary sign, and right in here got this long stretch where either side of you have some aviaries. Got Tapejara right here, and we've got Cearadactylus. No, that's Tapejara. Cearadactylus, there we go. And then on the other side, we've got Ludodactylus, and we've got Tropeognathus. So then you go out the other side, you've got some more decorations. I didn't really go too far with the decorations. There weren't really a lot of places where I was able to do that, but I feel like in the places where I was able to add decorations, they look pretty nice. Not to mention, we have a very nice view of the ocean. And then right over here, let's take a look at our Amargasaurus. So yeah, we've got nice big ol' herd of Amargasaurus. And right next door, we've got some Tyrannotitan. I have to say, I really love this skin. This is, I think, my favorite skin out of the two we have here. And then here's the other one, which, again, this is a pretty good skin. I just like the other one better. So yeah, overall, I really like how this guest section turned out. Again, there weren't too many opportunities to add in decorations, but overall, I've got to give this guest section a solid 7.5 chef's kisses out of 10. Feel free to comment down below how many chef's kisses you would give this guest section. But that's my rating, is 7.5. So now, here's what the overall plan for the park is going to be. So basically, in this next area, which we will do next episode, we're going to be focusing on the Guangxi group of what is now southern China. So right in here, we are going to have an enclosure for some Zhushang Tyrannus, which is what we are going to be using the feathered Tyrannosaurus Rex variant as. And then in the enclosure across from it, we are going to have Sinoceratops and Centausaurus. And then we're going to have a guest section right over here. Might have to expand the Zhushang Tyrannus enclosure over here. But yeah, we're going to do that based on the guest section first. And so you guys can see that we've got a zip line over here. So basically, here's what's going to happen. This area over here is going to be a smaller area for Concavenator and Mantellosaurus. So we're going to do a larger enclosure probably back here for Mantellosaurus, and then we'll do an enclosure for Concavenator. This will likely be where I'm going to put another tour stop, and that will go all the way up here. We'll do like some path going up here. Then of course there's this zip line that goes down here, and in this valley we're going to do Mamenchisaurus and we're going to do Chunkingosaurus. So then in the rest of the park, what I'm gonna do is, well, there's gonna be a guest section over here at the base of this cliff, which is going to have a smaller aviary for Jehalopterus. There's also going to be an enclosure for both Huayangosaurus and Gigantspinosaurus, and we are going to do an enclosure for Monolophosaurus. So then down here, we are going to do some lagoons. So we're going to do two large lagoons. One is going to be for Megalodon, the other is going to be for a combination of Shonisaurus and Nothosaurus. So that's the overall gist of what we're going to do for Jurassic Park Germany. But like I mentioned, for next episode, our main goal is going to be Zhushang Tyrannus up here, Sinoceratops and Centausaurus down here, and then we are going to work on this next guest section, which honestly what I might do is I might also have this guest section connect up to the guest section over here via some paths. So yeah, with that being said, that is going to wrap up today's video. Really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If so, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to see some more Planet Zoo and Jurassic World Evolution 2 content. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.